All right, everybody. Happy Friday. It is Halloween, and the market's not too scaredy today. So that's a good feeling, right? All right, Rockstar. Nice to see you, VV. Let's go. I like it. John says, hit that like button on the way in. Ryan AI can't hit the like button for all of us. Unfortunately, I cannot. But maybe Quantum Ryan can, but not Ryan AI. All right, let's get to it here. As you can tell, currently neutral right now. I will say the alert actually will be hit in 1 minute, so we'll give everyone just a moment to make their way into the room here. And has everyone got good plans for Halloween this weekend? Everyone got good plans? We are going to do a corn maze tomorrow, which is pretty fitting for this time of year. It's going to be a nighttime corn maze, so that's going to be good. All right. Any good costumes this evening? Who thinks they got the best costume? Who thinks they got the best and most unique costume? Let's go ahead and put that in the comment section. And Carol, yes, you know I'm Team Android. All right, let's see here. Now, that could be scary if I switch to Team Apple, but I'm not going to switch to Team Apple. No, maybe on a Friday the 13th. Halloween's just not going to do it for me. All right, everybody. As we're taking a look at the market here, like I've been saying all week, expect volatility both directions. The market's done loop-de-loops, ups and downs. Amazon? That's the reason why it's up today, it looks like, right? You can see the Nasdaq up just about 1% right now. If we take a look, the Nasdaq, it gave up some of those gains I could see since I looked at it. Looks like over the last about 10, 15 minutes here. We're about 0.6 to the upside right now. Let's go to the one-day chart here. You see, since the open, we are currently trading at session lows when it comes to the tech stocks. You can see with our market timing signals, right? Let's be honest here. I'm much more worried about protecting profits from great trades we've had over the last few months during this big rally, rather than just opening up new willy-dilly trades when these market timing signals are all over the place, right? If you're opening up trades right now, hopefully you're more active and just know you're a little bit more aggressive, right? We're not quite seeing the confirmation. But if you get any positions, just have a stop in place. Bill says dressing up like Ryan this year. That's probably the scariest costume out there. That's the scariest one. Bill wins. Oh, man. Hey, you could dress up like Glenn. Could even be scarier, right? He's not here to defend himself. Now, I reached out to Glenn yesterday to see what he was doing for Halloween. Hopefully, I'll hear back from him over this weekend. Ritesh says Data Vault. I'm kind of curious to see what Data Vault's doing right now. Amir, what did you do to tech? You went for vacation and now Seagate getting killed after being up. SGT, Seagate. The MTI has been trending lower, right? I think we even got, actually just crossed below 1. I'm seeing here on the VectorVest 7 software. I got another monitor. I've been telling you, the MTI is hitting lower lows, lower highs, which means guess what? Harder to make money in the market for a bull. So if you want to go out there and try to be all willy-nilly, but I'm telling you, just have some patience. Protect what profits you got left. I'm not saying close them. You got stops, right? Stick to your stops, stick to your initial plan. But I see the MTI getting down to 0.6. I see bottom fishing opportunities setting up for a huge rally. I talked about that, 2-3 weeks ago? And we see the MTI coming down. We're just about to enter November. I'm seeing great bottom fishing opportunities. Netflix, are we buying? Afraid I'm not buying much of anything today. I'll tell you what, I'd put Netflix on your radar, though, just like I would put, Meta on your radar, too. I'm not going to say, jump in right now. Can't believe Amazon worked for me. Another Festivus miracle. I got to message my mom today because, I got her back in Amazon. I was back around, I think, 110, 115. I saw it hit around 250. So, another $5-10? That got mom a bag. I got to love that. She'll be happy to hear from me this weekend, right? Getting mom a bag. All right. Ritesh got doubled after your recommendation. Book some profit. As always, thank for awesome recommendation. I'm telling you right now, any stock, especially a lot of single stocks, a lot of the growth rate stock videos I've been doing over the last week or two, I've been telling you, don't just go out and buy these stocks willy-nilly. Make sure the trades are coming to you. LAES, another great stock, right? I'm telling you, I like some of these stocks pulling back. I like that Data Vault pulled back. Since my trip, I told you I kind of was waiting on that. And I'm not jumped in yet. I'm actually working tonight, my second job. I'm stacking money, building up my cash right now. Because I'm looking for that MTI to get, again, I'm a bottom fisher. I got patience. I've seen it happen a million times. So I'd rather have the patience and hit big than, just trying to fight for scraps every day. Saeed says, if I subscribe to the premium plan with real-time data, will I also get real-time data on the mobile app? I'm almost positive, Saeed. I'm almost positive. I want to say yes to that. I'm almost positive that is the case. You can always call support to double check, but I got Clay in the background. Clay, that's true, right? If you get real time in VectorVest 7, you get real time on the mobile app. You get real time. My mother gave me the best stock advice, and she doesn't buy stocks. She told me to only buy the stocks that are going up. John, that's good. That's good motherly advice, right? Buy the stocks that are going up. Philip says gold miners not doing well. Time to sell. Well, Phyllis, I've been talking about gold miners. The GLD chart, a little overextended on the trend line. If you watch some of my past presentations on gold and VV7, that would have been time to take profits. But now we're so close back to the trend line, you got to ask yourself, are you more of a trader or are you more of an investor with gold, right? Stick to the technicals when it comes to gold. We'll take a look at gold. Bill says, Ryan, you need to ask for a raise now. Stop it. No. That'll scare him on a Halloween Friday, right? Bill says I need a raise. I'm going to screenshot that. Send that over to management right now, Bill. What's going on with Meta, EME, and Seagate? Now everything turning red. Meta was, from what I heard, a little bit of nervousness from investors by the amount that they're spending on AI, right? Some of those others, I'd have to see what Seagate, the news is on that. Did they have earnings? Anybody know? It was a SGT, a Seagate. They may have had earnings. Marcus, how does real-time EPS work with VectorVest? Don't we have to wait for earnings reports to get this data? Yes, you would have to get earnings reports to wait to get the data, essentially. But you do get the data earlier. But let's be honest here, changes in earnings per share, unless you're in like a bigger company, but a lot of smaller companies, it doesn't happen too often. If you ever seen some of the smaller companies, their EPS charts might have flat lines or look, little stair-step fashion per se, rather than more, curved, because that's more data reports. I'll be honest, even if, it'll be real time, but I don't know if you necessarily need the earnings per share real time, just because that's not necessarily like a day trader indicator. Yeah, it's good to have it real time, and you will, Marcus. And you don't have to wait for earnings because these are forecasted. You don't have to wait for the earnings reports. As soon as the forecast is given, our data feed, well, it was Reuters, but I'm pretty sure it's just straight through the Nasdaq exchange now. So anytime they get a report, forecast report, goes to our office in Ohio. They check the data, do what they do, and then it's updated in the software. John says A-Lab RT crossed 1 today. Hell, that's a fish right there. That might be a fish. That's what I'm saying. Just make sure if you're buying stocks right now, the trade is making sense. A stock that might be just in a general uptrend as the market's kind of moving to the side right now. It's bucking the trend of the market. That's the type of stock you might want. If you're trying to get into new opportunities, looking for stocks with with a fresh RT crossover, just as John and Bill are talking about in the comment section. Bill says, "Aren't you in Amazon? I just sold some January call spreads way above the price." Probably not a bad idea, John. Probably not a bad idea. We got Hood. All right, let's take a look at the market here. We've been chatting for a little bit. Look at the color guard. Does that look like the best time to be buying stocks right now? Look at the MTI. Trending lower, lower, lower. Where does the MTI typically like to find a bottom? 0.6, right? It's not exact science. We typically around there. That's usually, when you want to wait for like a primary wave up, the blast off day. You've heard those terms before. But just know, if you are buying a stock right now, the color guard is telling me that there is more downside potential. And that risk is now outweighing some of those opportunities, right? The MTI is clearly trending lower. 5 days ago, it was at 1.18. We had some green lights in the mix, but now we can see those green lights just, obviously going away here. Yellow, red lights taking control, right? So again, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but not the best time to be buying stocks right now. Have some patience. Do some research. Now's a good time to really get that shopping list ready and make sure you're protecting profits, because that way, if you're protecting profits when the market's high, that gives you some cash to deploy. Because I don't want to hear it, I didn't know we were going to have bottom fishing opportunities. And obviously I don't have a crystal ball, but it's looking that way. And it's for me personally, I'm thinking a Santa rally. And that's what I'm waiting on. So if you guys think we're getting a Santa rally, type in Santa. I should have dressed up as Santa for Halloween. That would have been pretty funny. John, Jerry covered the timing in the TQQ. It didn't give a signal, even though we have a confirmed up. The levels were too high going into that confirmed up. Yes, if you do get a confirmed up signal when the MTI is historically coming off of 1.5, come down a little bit, market goes back, a confirmed up call. Yeah, it's not as good as a confirmed up call, historically speaking, as when the MTI comes off, right? Maybe I'll do a video on that next week. We'll really dive into the market timing. Because I'm telling you, we could give you stocks, great stocks all day in the VectorVest 7 software, but if you're not properly timing them, you're probably just going to stress yourself out much more than you have to, right? Much more than you have to. I know people are buying the dips right now, and if you're a dip buyer, just, stay disciplined, but I see the dip continuing. And that's why I'm saying, if you are going to buy the dip, just make sure the individual trade makes sense. Like Glenn says, trade the chart, not your heart, not your heart. Bill Ryan as Buddy the Elf starting next month. Yeah, I could, it might be a little tight. I'm pretty sure my sister has a Buddy the Elf costume. But that would be pretty fun. Maybe I should have dressed up for Halloween. Honestly, I didn't even get a costume because I just got back. I was more focused on trying to make some money this evening to buy some stocks on the bottom fishing opportunity that I see coming in the near future. We're going to do some fall activities tomorrow with the family. We're going to go to the corn maze. We're going to go to the corn maze. All right. But look at the advances. 46% declines, 43. There's not a real strong pull in either direction right now. That's what I'm saying. As the MTI keeps trending lower and lower, the money to be made as a bull in this market, it's getting harder and harder. I'm sure some of you guys and gals are starting to realize that. All right. Now let's go into some of these signals here. Confirm call. You can see the choppiness, right? And for the most part, other than this little swing up here a few days ago, we're still really just in this big bodied candlestick, right? Remember that Friday? I think that was probably a China deal or something, if I had to guess. But for the most part, we're still in that, right? So still a lot of indecision, a lot of probability probably get whipsawed, especially if you're trying to swing trade right now. I could definitely see some good whipsawing. So that's why I'm not jumping in. If you guys want to jump in, that's on you. As a swing trader, though, look how hard it is to be a swing trader right now with this MTI pulling back. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Market is spooky enough as it is without us dressing up. God. I'm glad we can't post photos in the comment section. Oh, man, I'm glad we can't post them. Actually, that would be kind of fun to see everyone dressed up in VV Nation. But it would be pretty spooky, too, right? Terrible market swingosity. That's why I've been trying to just tell you guys. Just have some patience. Let the trades come to you. Trust me. I like to take advantage of big market swings, right? MTI is low. That's typically when you get in. MTI is high. It's typically when you start examining, taking profits, things of that nature, right? Alfredo said that would be fun to dress up, right? Hey, I like it. I like it a lot. That would be cool. Maybe somehow we could incorporate that. I'll talk to Joey, see what they can do in the background. I don't think you can put pictures in the comments, though. All right. But so that's the DEW all over the place, right? Green light buyer. Well, green light buyers aren't. We're still seeing green light, but there's a confirmed down call. The green lights, no real follow through on any of these green lights here. But to really get a sense of the market, that's why I'm going to focus on the confirmed call and the DEW. The primary wave is telling me, at least for the short-term trend, the last 5 days, it's in favor of the bulls right now. Broad market or the VectorVest composite is lower than it was 5 days ago. And you can see, look, Amazon, even with the performance of Amazon right now, look at the Dow Jones, just went negative. The Nasdaq gapped up. SPX gapped up. VectorVest composite gapped up. Where are they all heading? back to their initial point. Now the Nasdaq is up only 0.5%. It was up 1% earlier, trading at sessions lows. So just be careful. What I could see potentially from the Nasdaq or the S&P is just a simple gap fill. Could be a simple gap fill there. But typically for the bulls, I would have liked that gap fill to occur a little bit earlier this morning. A little bit made it more defined as a gap fill. But again, I'm not gonna rush into today's market. Go enjoy your chocolate candy, which I did see an article that chocolate is up 30% higher than it was last Halloween. So gummies and pretty much anything that's not chocolate is all the rave right now. Let's see here. By the way, I'm up over 15% on the SPY puts I bought the other day. Nice. All right. Now let's get into some stock picks here. Let's see what they got for hot stocks right now. Pretty mixed bag here. This VSAT's been pretty interesting. See a lot of momentum to the upside. Momentum still continuing. Oh. What's the overvalued valuations at 29.44? No, John, not like those, but it was on CNBC, like actual gummy candies. Not those kind of gummies. Silly. All right, let's see here. Laser up 3% here. This is bucking the trend today. Ooh, let me take value off here. There we go. It's going to skew the candlesticks. Actually doesn't look bad. There's a level of resistance right here in the stair-step fashion. We can take that out around 34. Might not be a bad move at all. Even though the market's kind of moving to the side, the stock's not far from highs right now. Not far at all. Keith says AXTI. So you've seen that one before? This one here? Up 17%. Okay, hot stock. I don't like that upper wick though. I do not like that upper wick. Let's see if there's some more data back here. There it goes. There's the resistance, clear as day from this prior swing high. You've got touches from the bottoms and actually touch from the top here back in its early days. But yeah, I see a clear level of resistance there. And you can see the upper wick already forming. I don't know what the news is on this, but just be careful if you got into it. I am going to be bearish in the short term because you see how big that wick is. Maybe look at the volume on today. But overall, the earnings per share went negative. Let's see what the value is here. I wonder if there's any good overvalued. $3.31. Currently trading at $8.60. Axie is shooting star. Anybody know what they do? Let's see here. What do they do here? Industry group, semiconductor. Go figure. Semiconductor's been hot right now. Do your research on them. But it could definitely be a hot stock here. Could definitely be a hot stock. See here. What other ones are moving? This little OPRX Corp here. This is nice. Went from about $6. Now it's approaching, actually just over $20.51, up another 5% today. Now the valuation on this not as crazy. It's around just shy of $17. So it's slightly overvalued right now. Oh, it's a wafer fab. Okay. Now these are interesting stock picks here. Earnings yield, see earnings growth rate 33%, sales growth rate 55%. We see it stalling out. I see it trying to pivot off the 20-day, it looks like right now. That's the 5-year. That could be the beginning of a monster cup. That could be the beginning of a monster cup. It's got a long ways to go. But I like that momentum to the upside. I like how it's breaking this most recent level of resistance here. Earnings per share starting to curve around with price action as well. I like it. These are some pretty good stocks here. These are good ones to put on your radar. Let's see here. We're going to get to your stock picks. I'm going to give you more time for your stock picks today. Make sure you hit that like button though. How many? Oh, let's see here. I'm just curious. All right, there's over 100 of us gathered here today, so let's get some likes in there. All right, let's take a look at these other semiconductors. Those first couple semiconductors look pretty hot, right? See Micron pulling back a little bit. I talked about that. Short term in the Micron video, I said, what was it, like 215 potentially to around, I think it was like 205. I have to go back to the video and see. I could see short term pullback there. AMD, 256 now. AMD is a powerhouse of a stock, up 0.5% right now. Lam Research down a little bit. TSM still hovering around $300. Nvidia staying above 200 here. Ooh, look at Marvel coming in. I forgot about Marvel. What's Marvel been up to? So let's go to a 6-month chart. Interesting. If it can hold above 90, because I see that big upper wick there. If it can hold above 90 or pivot off that 90 level, might not be a bad one. Might not be a bad one at all. Ryan, check out NTCT. Why do I remember that stock from somewhere? What's up, Troy? How are we doing today? I'm going to get to your stocks in just a moment. You're just looking for some fish. Because again, I'm not being a buyer today. The market's poopy, as Glenn would say, or poopyosity, right? Now is a good time to just be really getting that shopping list together. I've shared with you guys some of my strategies because on this next bottom fishing round, hopefully we get a bottom fishing round before the holidays. It would be my assumption is I want to load up on some good quality stocks and just start selling calls against them. But they're cheap. Why they're cheap? Let's see here. UMC. This is another Taiwanese semiconductor company here. Showing a little bit of momentum to the upside. Overvalued valuation coming in at 629 here. Sandlot says, have you screwed up on UAMY? I sold some high teens, but still holding a good bit from down lower than current PPS. We're on the 50 SMA. I told you, Sandlot, I'm looking for $7. Speaking of that, let's just see where UAMY is right now. 798. It's getting closer. I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited on it. Trust me. The day I tell you, because the last time I was going to buy, it was off that trend line, and then the CEO had to do the insider trading, and it jumped like 25%, and then within a couple of days, shot to $20. I didn't chase that. I told everyone, I told Glenn to sell his shares. Everyone out. He even told his wife to sell his shares. That was around those $12. I still see it going down about $1. So if you're holding on to it, again, I don't have a crystal ball, but if you took some profits at 12, that's a good thing. That is absolutely 100% a good thing. But I will tell you right now, if UAMY gets back under our valuation, I'm probably going to ramp up my buying again. Let's see here. Let's get out of this. Let's go back to stock pick ideas here. Let's take a look at some of the contras just in case. I want to see if they're developing into actual trades right now. Let's see a premium watch list. Thoughts on VST? I sold some high. Let's see here. Where are the contra ETFs? Let's see if these are starting to make sense now. No, a little early on the dog. The Russell starting to shape up a little bit of a trade here. So if you are holding some, smaller caps, especially within the Russell 2000 here, be careful of that. Just because I do see the moving averages starting to cross over in a bullish manner now. But we got a double bottom here. If we take out this top around 1680, then that could be a trade. You still going to buy even with the trade deal with China? Yes, Jazz. Yes, Jazz. I want them to make the deal with China right now. It's only a year deal. And guess what? Anytime they make the deal with China, these stocks get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, right? Because I told you guys, last spring and summer, I just paid off a bunch of debt. Now I can actually start risking this money to invest. This is not a problem that's going to go away, right? Because what do you think is going to happen a year from now when the United States tries to push China around, do what we want to do, and China's like, no, we got all the rare earth magnets. It's going to be in the same situation. So trust me, this is just giving us time to bring all this all the supply chain back to us. I even brought about the story where the rare earth trades have switched around a little bit. There was that partnership I mentioned. If you didn't watch the live stream yesterday, skip right to the news story. I think it was the last news story. There's a whole new rare earth thing going on. The government's putting $200 million behind it, but it's a supply chain thing. So UAMY might even go even cheaper this year in a year. Potentially could. potentially could, Jazz. But I'm going to start loading up on my long-term UAMY positions when the MTI is low and if the trade makes sense. I'm not just going to buy UAMY just because it hit $7 or, whatever target. The trade has to make sense, but it is on my radar. And there's a couple other ones as well, Data Vault being one of them. If I'm a long-term investor focusing only on RV and RS, should I take profits if the MTI drops? Say that's a double-edged sword, right? Because if you're a long-term investor, you can ride several waves of the MTI going up and down, right? You can ride that wave. Stick to your stops, right? But just know when the MTI is at 1.5 or higher, typically a better time to at least start taking profits. Don't wait back for the MTI to get 0.6 and take profits, because that's usually you would have done a lot better, because all those stocks are, people are easily going to buy up those shares because now there's bottom fishing opportunities potentially around that time, right? So Saeed, to answer your question, when the MTI, and generally speaking, when the MTI is high, that's a better time to take profits, right? Now, because you're a longer term investor, and when I say by longer term, I imagine you're talking about years, you can go through a couple of these cycles potentially, right? Now, if you're just going to play these cycles, it turns more into swing trading. Just going to be honest with you. It's going to turn more into swing trading. So it's not necessarily one thing you want to do. REMX is a good ETF for mineral junkiosity stock. I was looking at REMX. It was still looking good. It was looking at a nice trend level, a nice pivot could potentially be shaping up. I still like these stocks, these rare earths. But again, they're very news driven, right? It's like Bitcoin. I'm going to put in the same thing I talk about Bitcoin. The best time to be buying Bitcoin is when everyone's talking about it's crap, right? So when everyone's talking about these rare earth stocks are crap and China and US are going to just get along all of a sudden, probably the best time to start buying them again, right? Because who here thinks the US and China trade deal is even close to being over? I do not whatsoever, right? And that is their biggest, well, at least to our, who knows what other defense things are going on behind the scenes. But to the general public, that's their biggest ace in their sleeve is the supply chain right now. There's magnets. Think about the United States government was trying to get this, and this. They said, well, we got the rare earths, and we didn't really get much of anything except some pissed off farmers at the end of the day, right? And Bill, I'm not going to say it's a joke. I'm not going to say it's a joke at all. And I'm not going to get political, so we're going to keep moving. Bill, check out the other companies in the industry group and see how they did with earnings. That's a good call, John. Good call on that one. All right. But Russell, I'd start getting a little bit more worried about the small caps. Let's see about these other ones here. Q. Not too worried. So I'm not going to buy Contras right now. I'm not going to buy Contras. I at least want to see the moving averages start to cross over. If you are going to buy Contras, short-term, active trader, right? Now, if you're not an active trader, if you don't plan on looking at your stocks a lot, which probably not many of you since you're watching this channel today, I'm new, and where's MTI? Black Mamba, are you a new to VectorVest subscriber? Are you new to VectorVest in general, or just to the channel? Just curious. But yeah, the Contras, I'm saying it with the market kind of moving to the side. You're seeing the whipsaw and the signals. I'm not sold on the Contras right now. See how much stuff you have that's made in China. There's all kinds of things made in China, right? All kinds of things. Contras on a Friday. We'll wait for Monday. No, Troy, I'm not talking about, I'm not telling anyone. I was just seeing if the trades look good. And the only thing that was starting to make sense was the Russell. But yeah, I'm not going to buy them over the weekend. No. If Monday we're starting to see some follow through, some downward pressure, I would start with the Russell and then go from there. Which was the other one? Oh, the S&P 500. I would say the S&P 500 looks second best, followed by the Qs and then the Dow Jones. And I'm just saying that by looking at those moving averages. Hood is back. Looking good. I wonder what Bitcoin's doing today. Where's Bitcoin at today? I wonder if it's moving up for that. Yes, new subscriber. Black Mamba. And I will just kind of, what was it, 12:30? We should do that. Let's focus on some market timing. That way I can save everyone some big headaches here, right? Let's see here. Market overview. Firm calls. So we've noticed the market stalling out over the last few weeks, right? This is a confirmed call signal. We're getting whipsawed currently right now in that signal, right? The DEW, we are getting whipsawed in that signal. Now, I can't show the best example right now. It'll be on the VectorVest 7 software. I can give the best visual description. But what we're looking at, if we go to this color guard here, this little column MTI, market timing indicator. The only thing you have to really remember, it just combines price, RT, and BSR. It's like the VST, but of the market, essentially, right? Now, the MTI historically likes to find a bottom around 0.6. It's not an exact thing, but typically if you throw on a chart over the past few years, you'll see 0.6 level. It makes a lot of sense. And to the upside, around 1.5, 1.6. Now, what that means is when the MTI gets up to 1.5, 1.6, upside potential is becoming limited while downside risk is starting to pick up, right? Sometimes when the market's stretched, a little suppressed, the MTI may stay elevated. But when you see the MTI start hitting a series of lower highs, lower lows, which I've been talking about on the channel over the last week or two now, that's telling me the market's really taking a breather, right? And I'm perfectly fine with that because as of right now, I see it as a healthy breather, not really a severe pullback. Because the MTI has managed to go from 1.5 territory. Now it's crossed below 1, right? At 0.98. So once it gets, I'm not going to say once because, who knows has a crystal ball. But historically speaking, I'm looking for it to get closer to 0.6. That's all I'm saying is if you buy a stock right now in a bullish manner, just make sure the trade makes sense because me personally, I'm thinking there's a little bit more downside potential here, right? That's why I'm in the boat of protecting profits right now. That way we can get some extra cash for the next bottom dip, right? And then once that happens, it turns into a bottom fishing scenario, and there's other indicators we'll look at. And also when I see that type of situation occur, Black Mamba, I will do a video to go into more detail on that. Bill says indices moving back up again. You will find the MTI in the color guard on the screen now. Yes, it's right there to the right of the BSR. Very powerful indicator, right? Because even though Bill is saying indices are moving back up, which I do see, Dow Jones it's pretty flat still. A little pivot. I can see the pivot off the, look at that, the gap fill. I mean, it's a simple gap fill pivot. I'll do 1 week. Why is it so skewed? There we go. Yeah, there's the gap right here, right? There's the gap. And guess what? Just filled the gap. Simple trade. Simple trade as it is a gap fill trade. See it all the time in day trading. It's quick money. I'm not going to tell your target. We're getting close to the first target right now. We're getting close to the first target. If we get past this, you probably got right here. And if it doesn't get past that, it's probably going to go back down or just kind of fizzle out for the rest of the day. Market doesn't seem to want to drop below 1 on MTI. It's getting there. It's getting there. Black Mama, welcome. Are you new to the channel and to the VectorVest 7 software? Yes, Black Mama. Do you have VV7 or the mobile app? That's a good question as well. On Fridays, we just do mobile app. Rest of the week, it's all VV7. And as well, we do have a new platform coming into the mix called MLP, the Market Launchpad. If you just go to our website, we'll have some information on it. Current subscribers to VectorVest 7 do have access to the MLP. And it's web-based, so you can download it on anything. Even your refrigerator if you wanted to. All right, 12:35. I want to see what stocks y'all are talking about. But that's going to be the message of the day. I see just a simple gap fill. I'm really surprised. I would have liked to see a little bit more follow-through off of Amazon's excitement there. But the market's just not feeling it right now. All right, let's get into a watch list here. Let's create a watch list. We'll get some stocks. So don't put them in yet. I got to create the watch list. My watch list. Well, all right. There we go. We'll clear this chat here. Ryan, I will not put VV on a refrigerator. Come on, John. You want to watch your stocks while you sneak some cookies out in the middle of the night? Come on, John. I know your MO. You're gonna love to check your stocks getting those cookies out. Or getting the milk out for your cookies. Black Mama, I'm on mobile app right now. Perfect. If you want to check things out, you just go to our website. We do other things, but the mobile app is a great entry point into the VectorVest 7 ecosystem, especially getting used to our market timing signals, getting used to our proprietary indicators on the individual stocks. So it's a great level, and everyone's got a different portfolio size. So if you don't have a huge portfolio, it's a good entry level, without, just costing you, on your, or affecting your bottom dollar essentially. All right, let's get into it. I want to see, how much time we got left? It's Halloween. Let's just do 20 stocks. First 20 coming through the comment section as of right now. Oh, MLI. Nice. Oh, you guys are getting good. Oh, wait, no, I didn't want to put that one in. TSM. Oh, wait, no. All right, I think that's 15. James, what do you mean by you like the hairy look? I've got hair? I know you guys are surprised I have hair, don't you? I've had hair this whole time. I just shave it. I actually have long beach hair, but I decided to run a marathon a couple years ago now. And I shaved it because it was way too hot. I've just kept it shaved. But I'm thinking about growing it out for the winter. A-Lab. Yes, I do want to look at A-Lab and the RT PTIR. Granite shears, double. I like Palantir going into earnings. And if it's breaking above that ascending channel, we'll take a look at it. If it's breaking above that ascending channel, I see a closer to a parabolic move, like what you saw last time when it broke out of the channel, went up for like 2 or 3 days. You'll see the candlesticks, and then came back down to the channel. Kind of see that being the case. And then the only way I don't see it going back into the channel is if they do have stellar earnings. And let's be honest, they got to have stellar earnings to keep up with that price tag. See here, DGXX. Where are we at here? Netflix. NFX. CVRS. CRVS. PTIR we already have. I believe that's a double leverage one. Yep, we do. CRDO. STX. Did they have, they had earnings, didn't they, Amir? Was it earnings? AREN. It's going to be the last one here. 50 stocks for Glenn every Friday. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy today. Y'all crazy. Palantir's always has great earnings so far. And I don't doubt that Palantir's earnings are going to be phenomenal and that they're going to beat. But those numbers just have to be phenomenal on a consistent basis, quarter over quarter at this point. It's like NVIDIA a year or two ago, and NVIDIA delivered. Palantir, this seems like, NVIDIA or Palantir to 210 first? That's a good question. Let's do a poll right now. Who do you think is going to get there first? NVIDIA to 210 or Palantir to 210? My guess? Made a great watch list. If Palantir's at $200, I'm going to say Palantir. I'm just going to put in PLTR here. 199. I could see it. I could see the wick. You could see the wick forming. Oh wait, no, 3 months. You can see the wick forming. It's at the top of the channel right now. So just be careful. Extra will get. Oh, stop it. Oh man. Look, we're pretty mixed here. Let me scroll back up. I want to see the votes here. John says Palantir. Alfreda says NVIDIA. Bill says Palantir. My vote was Palantir. At 199, I'm going to say Palantir. I'm thinking it's going to break above that channel next week, right before earnings. I don't know what's going to happen to earnings. We'll see what happens to earnings. But I'm thinking it's going to jump up before. I was waiting for that one. X-Row. But I do like that. 6 months here. So you can see the channel here. If you ever see me on VectorVest 7, I draw it much better there. But you can see the channel, and we're towards the top of it. So just be careful with Palantir. But I see it getting pumped before earnings. I think when's earnings for Palantir? Is it November 11th, if I'm mistaken? People find it easy to tap in stock picks, but not easy to tap the like button. Shaking my head. Yes, hit that like button. How many likes are we at? I better hit that like button. I'm gonna go back to Glenn's thing. We stay firm on to the likes. Where are we at here? Oh, now I see it going up. There we go. Let's get 15 more likes in the room. Let's hit 15 more likes here. All right, but Palantir looks good. Let's get back to y'all stocks while y'all hit that like button. Seagate down 8%. I'm gonna assume it's earnings, right? I'm assuming it's earnings. Did they miss on earnings, Amir? Because I know they you put this one in here. Well, I had the breakout. I mean, it looks like it's just gonna retest that 240. If they missed, I'd be careful. But I will say this. Went from what, 270, it's down 10%. You got to have a stop in place. Amir, got to have a stop in place. It's still got a buy rating. It's probably not close to losing it, but as of right now, it still has a buy rating, so I'm not going to freak out about it. But if it gets much less than 230, I would be getting a little bit more defensive right now. But again, I'm going to assume this is earnings, so really you got to look at the earnings report. You know, if it looked horrible, the damage may not be done, right? But if it was just, you know, something like a Facebook where, you know, the investors are, oh, you're spending too much money on AI. Well, they have to stay in the race. And I don't see that much as a problem, right? Monday is Palantir's earnings. Oh, I thought, which company was I thinking it was November 11th? We had some time on Palantir. Is this Monday? Super positive earnings. All right. Yeah, then you're good, Amir. You know, it's just, you know, the volatility, shake out the week. Just focus, you know, on the real stuff. You know, don't focus on the noise. If as long as you looked at that earnings report or, you know, read it, however you got it, just make sure it was good. But yeah, I see a good level support there. Rising earnings, I like it. All right, next up, TSM. TSM's still in the channel. It may just taking a breather. It has to. Look, it jumped from what, 240, 250 up to close to around $300. Just taking a natural breather right now. I see a little bit of a channel to the side. I actually like this. I like it a lot. You know me, this is the safest AI play next to Nvidia, in my opinion. Man, that's beautiful price action. What's the value on this on TSM? 314, still undervalued. Still undervalued. What just happened to Micron? Nothing happened to Micron. It's just down a little bit. I'll take a look at Micron in just a second. Last time I looked, it was down like 1%, 2%. But I said it was coming back down to 215 in that video. I said I wouldn't be surprised. Look for the retest there. Here we got a little, looks like a little cup. The moving averages in our favor. Still got a buy rating. So this is that type of stock that I'm not going to be that concerned about, right? This is not the stock that's being affected by this whipsaw, right? Now, if your stop kept you in this little pullback, and if you want to tighten it a little bit, this next go around at these levels, around 180, hey, that's a natural and not a bad thing to do. It's bad for my ulcers. What are you talking about? What's bad for your ulcers, Amir? Moeller Industries, another lower left, upper right, still has the buy rating, still's got rising earnings. I mean, rising earnings is what you want to look for, right? That's the real sign of a solid stock. And Moeller has that. Moeller has it. Still above the 8. You know, looks like it's just been consolidating around right between the 8 and the 3, but to the upside. So I'm not going to be too concerned about that one. Palantir, this is the double leveraged one here. You can see it's getting to high territory once again. As far as Palantir earnings on Monday, so you just got to ask yourself, you got the kahunas to hold it then, right? Because if Palantir goes down, you're down twice as bad. That's going to be my only caveat with the double leverage, right? I'm not going to try to speculate on it. I'm not going to say that Palantir can't deliver, but they've got a very high bar to deliver. And if you've noticed, the stock, it's been a slow grind lately with Palantir, right? I think the valuation is the biggest concern right now. All right. CommScope. I do like it's breaking out from that prior high. Yes, we got an upper wick right here. Still got the buy rating. The hold did not last long. Do we analyze leverage ETFs different than their underlying asset? It depends on the ETF. You know, if you're on a like a Nasdaq leverage ETF, yeah, you can go right to the underlying asset, right? But if you're in something a little bit more complicated, like a yield max, but me personally, if I'm going to get ETF, I'm going to look at the stock chart of the underlying asset and base my moves off of that. Got the kahunas for sure. Bill's first one to say, oh man. What I'm saying, if you're holding a double leverage of Palantir, really any tech stock going into earnings, just make sure you're brave enough to do so, right? Because it can work for you twice as well, but can also work against you. If you're something in a double leverage, ETF, maybe do it like a little bearish option strategy for a little bit of insurance on there, right? There's different ways to play it, but just know it's going to be, it's going to be a big move come Monday. I do like this. And that tick up in earnings per share. I like CommScope. Here's another one. We got DG Power X. It's going to be a little bit more speculative of play. You see earnings per share not favorable, but moving in the right direction. It was down about $1.50. Now we're about negative 50 cents here. The stock's up today just over 2%. I like it. Big old basketball. I'm sticking with Palantir through earnings. Hey, I'm not mad at it. I think Palantir will deliver. I have called them pretty much, what NVIDIA is to hardware, Palantir is shaping up to be to software. And that CUDA, that's what they're famous for, the CUDA software. I think it's CUDA. Or is that Palantir software? Is that the name of it, CUDA? But I'm finding out some pretty interesting things about that stuff. All right. Let's see what the next one is. This is a nice pivot shaping up here. The 20-day, we're seeing rejection. Let's get price action above that 20. Rising earnings. Still got a fresh buy up 4% today. I like it for the bulls here. Here's CRVS. I mean, this is a steady Eddie. Lower left, upper right. Earnings per share not there, but I'm not in this stock for. CUDA is NVIDIA. What is the name of the famous software behind Palantir? Yeah, I should have known CUDA was NVIDIA. There's like a name for one of their particular software, and that's like one of the reasons why they're so powerful, essentially, because they're able to take data points from different databases and mix it together in one cohesive unit. And I guess not many companies can do that on such a large scale. Think about law enforcement, right? You got databases all over the country and all over the world, different styles of databases. They're taking that type of data and facilitating into one central unit, probably for AI purposes, right? Let's be honest about it. Hakuna Matata. But no, I definitely see the potential for Palantir, trust me. Let's see here. Corvus Pharmacy. For a pharmaceutical company, I'm going to say that's a smooth stock for pharma. I don't think I've ever done one video on a biotech company. That's just not what I do. I'm not going to put out things there that I'm not, comfortable with. But I just like the fact it's just steady Eddie. Let's just see what the value is on that. Way overvalued because, again, it's going to be a pharmaceutical, so just be careful. RV, nothing. RS, nothing. RT, it's the only thing I got going for it. So once it's not a steady Eddie to the upside anymore, I'm out. I'll tell you right now, I'm out. Gotham. That's what it is. Gotham. Which is such a cool name, too. Such a cool name. Let's see here. Yes, it's Palantir Gotham. I was just Googling to make sure. And then I think it's Apollo is the other one I was thinking of. But yeah, they've got some really good software. And you can obviously tell with their contracts that just keep piling up. That's why it was on Glenn's radar. He talked about it on a live stream. It was wild. There was like every other week, Glenn was coming out with a new article, whether it's the U.S., another, Western nation, teaming up with Palantir. And I can see why. Let's see here. Wow. Twilio had a nice move after earnings from that tight base. TWLO. That's Twilio, right? Oh, I was thinking Take-Two Entertainment, but yeah, no, that should be Twilio. Let's see here. SITM up 4% today. The only thing I'm going to say about this one We broke the 20, and look what I see right now. Big upper wick at the 20-day moving average, right? Seeing a little bit of rejection there. If we get some follow through from this rejection, I would get a little bit defensive on it, and that's more coming from a swing trader's perspective, right? Otherwise, if this is a long-term hold, just stick to your stop, because right now I'm just seeing a steady eddy that has had a really nice movement. This is a nice steady eddy, right? Lower left, upper right, but going from what, $150 to over doubling, just over 300 at one point. I like it. Let's see here. Netflix. There's the gap down. I like the value. This swing high here. Let's go back to a year. This is where I'm thinking the technical traders are trying to find support here. You know, if we get rejection at this resistance here, look for a real support level around here, which is going to be the close that day. It was just over $1,000 from that prior swing high. I really like that prior swing high as a nice level support here. The damage, it could be done, but if we end today or if Monday if we get rejection at this here, I'm looking closer to 1,000. I'm looking closer to 1,000. Here's AREN. I know you've put this stock on my radar before, because undervalued, $11. RV out of this world, 1.65. RS is not the safest one. Could be worse. That's not a bad play. That's in my watch list though on my bottom fishing opportunities. I like the stock in general. Netflix. That's what I did forget about that, Bill. I did forget about it. So I'll be honest with you. If the bottom fishers come in now on Netflix and it doesn't hit that with about $1,030 swing high support I'm looking at, that's going to be the reason, right? Because we've seen it with Apple and Nvidia and the rest of the gang. What do these companies like to do before a split? They like to pump up before a split, right? So we just had a sell-off, and then now we're announcing a split. So yeah, we might not hit that level of support that I'm thinking now, Bill. I'm glad you mentioned that. So if I had to guess, I do like the Netflix split. I like that trade. You know, if you can't afford $1,000 stock, or a couple of you could try an option, a little bit cheaper, but it is an expensive stock. ARE, I do like this though. I like this one. Keep this one on your radar. Here's ALAB. Ooh, ALAB, big upper wick, still up 10% today. Clear resistance from this swing low. Look at that big upper wick. The upper wick covers that whole swing low consolidation here. Alfredo says, I bought Netflix. Alfredo, I'm not going to lie. I like the trade, especially, Bill, you just reminded me of that split here. If it does pull back to 1,030, like I said, just look at that prior swing high. Don't be alarmed by that. But just like some of those other Mag 7 stocks, well, I guess Netflix is not a Mag 7 anymore. It was a FANG. It was the original group, right? But we've seen it with those big mega caps. You know, they like to pump before going into a split. If it pulls back, I'll buy more. There you go. That's the dip mentality, right? I'll just buy more if it dips. Oh, I love it. All right. Let's see here. We were ALAB. All right. We got a couple more here. EOS Energy. I would have gotten a little concerned on that 20. I do like this pivot off of this consolidation here. Earnings per share. It's up 8% today. Just be careful on this one. It is showing the signs of weakness. Honestly, what I would probably do, you see these little wicks here? If I zoom in, draw a trend line down on these wicks, and actually this one's matching up as well. If you see a rejection on that wick with some follow through, take note of that, right? But if you see a break on some high volume, might want to buy some more. Just food for thought. All right, let's see here. And now I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I'm gonna be with Thad today. We're gonna be kicking it together in the Power Hour. So make sure you give him a hard time today. No, I'm just kidding. I think this is what his third time doing. He's doing a great job. Love it. I've heard the feedback. So I will be with him today. So if you have some good questions or thing like that, we'll be doing that. And then that's gonna be in the community room. So just for people who are new, like Mamba, every other Friday, well actually every Friday at 2 p.m. we do Power Hour, where it's only your stock picks, especially when I do it, because other instructors, they ramble about market timing. But I try to get all your stocks. However, it does rotate. So this week is only in the community room, which actually, Clay, do they have access to the community room as a mobile subscriber? I would think so, right?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. So yeah, come join us, Mamba. Come join us at 2 p.m. then. Sorry, it's been a while. I've been on the floor. I know they make changes in the subscriptions. That's why I just like to confirm before I start talking out my butt. But other than that, I mean, come check us out. And then, so the next Friday, it will be on both YouTube and the community room. Give everyone a chance to bring some stocks, right? So we just like, spreading the word. But we do like to cater to our existing subscribers as well. All right, we got 2 more stocks. We got Kodiak Gas Services. You know me, I'm not big on gas, and you could see why. This stock has just been consolidating between about $31 and call it 37, right? Now it's fully valued, so you're not even getting a value with this one. So it's moving nowhere. Thad is a bit no nonsense. I like it. So I didn't watch the last Friday one because I was on vacation, but I'm gonna see what he's doing here. I got great confidence in him. We got rising earnings. I do like the fact that we're breaking out of this resistance zone. Let's just take out this prior swing high. But what I do see is just a rising triangle, right? You can see the clear resistance on the top of the triangle, right? You can see the trend lines, the trend on the bottom lows here, just consolidating together. It looks like we're gonna get a breakout to the upside. So this is actually a great trade setup in the making if you're more of an active trader. You can see the rising triangle or rising wedge, whatever you want to call it. How do you access community room? God, there's a million ways to access it. Within VectorVest 7, you just click on the training tab. There's a link there for community room. Or just go to vectorvest.com/VIC. Clay, do you have the link to the community room? You just want to put it in the comments section? And Data Vault ABB, we will take a look at in just a second because, that's the stock I've been talking about here. But this one, I see this as a trade setup here. I don't know what's going to happen. The trade's not quite there. But I do see this as a short-term trade setup. And here is LGN. This is one I haven't heard of. I mean, that's a nice steady rise, though. Earnings per share, a little bit of a turnaround story. Let's learn a little bit more about this. RV, nope. So it's not going to be my long-term hold. RS, nope. It's going to be a little risky. RT, yes. So I'm focused on the technicals here, right? That's what that's telling me. Value, way overvalued, right? Let's see if it's got some good forecasted data. Earnings growth rate, 6%. Sales growth rate, 30%. Oh, there it goes. They put in the link to the community room. So definitely come check us out here in a few because we got about 2 minutes left. And I'm going to go get some lunch and then help Thad get started here in a few. But this is interesting. I do like this stock, just the general move of it. But to be honest, I forgot who gave it to me, but I'm sticking to the technicals. And you can see it's actually not been out that long. Just a few months here. I'll stick to the technicals on it because I've seen it way too many times. The stock hasn't been too long. You get a lot of hype in the beginning, the IPO, whatever. You get the momentum, the retail traders, whatever it may be. But then somewhere along the way, not always, but majority of what we see is somewhere price and value, somewhere down the road like to meet. Typically somewhere in the middle, right? So I just stick to the technicals on this one, and then maybe some better opportunities might come as far as an investor down the road. That would be my 2 cents. All right. Now it's time to go get some candy. I'm actually going to go hit up Thad. Maybe brought some chocolate to the office today. That would be cool. That would be cool. Now, everybody, I just want you to be safe. I want you to enjoy your time with your friends and family this Halloween. Stay on the right side of the market. Stay blessed. And I will see you guys Monday. And if you have any hard questions, I'll help Thad here in just about an hour. Take care. Bye.